Okay, now this is completely experimental once again. If I'm, but it's at something else. I'm wondering if I'll be able to go through certain events in one rap. And it's all freestyle, and I just think I have it listed in my head. Um, yeah, but here's your beat cred, and for the photo, here's the photo cred. Okay, I'll see if I can do this. In 1988, I was born as a scientist in the neighborhood of Capilano, where I was to do experiments and be completely wacko. I was your standard kid, learning what it was to Halloween, and the Christmases were plentiful, as we were being. I then went to the school system of the world, where I was beaten and shagged as the best man ever. Whatever they were the queerer, I was the coolest, the awesome. And we brought forward all the blossoms. Then my dad got a job, and we moved completely different cities. And because I was so picked on, it was so scary. The flow I bring you here is my life, it was weird. Strange things about reality. I fell in with some boys who were into casual weed and pot. And boy, let me tell you the truth, they beat me up. We ran from bears, as it was an extreme way of living. But there were actually bears in the wildlife right next and inside where we were living. And because I smoked pot and drank, my mom sent me to private school, which is something to thank a fellow student from a big bank. Things like that came in Scott's blessings. But as he let them know that he had lived the street life Poe, they made him at private school their Quasimodo. He was their Quasimodo. They called him Burnout. And they made sure to have one person against who to shout. So I am expelled from the land of private school. And I moved back towards Edmonton. I moved in Edmonton. So I'm living all of a sudden. And I am the one roping. But what I didn't expect from my Shawnigan mentality was there was drugs all over Edmonton society. It was scary, it was bad, they would even admit it, to having used an illicit substance. And it was always terrifying. So because it was so scary, I turned myself into psychiatry. I nabbed to a nurse during a time, why don't you get me into psychiatry? And there I was misdiagnosed. They took real reports of slander and threw me on the roast. How terrible it was. That Scott Robinson was on meds and couldn't be his whole love. He was the one who had vocalized everything. And then he began studying. He could see the world from his computer. and he prayed to God to be the winner. And as he studied and put his studies public, the world society began to know him. They seriously knew him. He was known by Eminem, 50 Cent, Katy Perry. Even Justin Trudeau had a personal attachment to the story. If I'm correct. If I'm correct, yeah, right. So Dr. Z finally got with producing some sort of rap material. It was extremely bootleg. The beats were all free on some streaming service. But he made a track. He made Tales of the Streets by Dr. Z. Due to the success of the track, we'd like to thank All Royalty, who had heard his track. Everything blew up, and after interest into his track, they called COVID for your luck. Was there any man in contact with supernatural forces, which I am, man? Since I was on meds studying, I had the visits of ghosts, as for I was praying. And they called COVID after the success of Tales from the Streets by me. And I was put under intense observation. They froze my mind and observed me intensely and intensely and intensely. So he passed the Kingsman tests that they had thrown his way. If he were to be the best rapper, he would have to do this every day. And Scott was in the mental hospital knowing he was being researched. And what did he see on his Instagram page was sure. He could tell Kate Middleton was on to his every motive. Mostly because she had been eating foods and freshening up ways he had said. And he was a world figure for that alone, for knowing that Kate Middleton was reading his page at the time, through her eyes. Oh no, not through her eyes. After which, they had frozen his mind, he came back to it and rapped a new rap off the dome. And due to the success of the track, I'm just saying I'm a world figure, man. In bootleg, cheap dope raps. Oh yeah, oh yeah. The audience on my page was 1,000,000 soldiers strong. Even all of SAS had to give his commendations. He was the guy in the mental hospital who could see they were looking at him. People who were looking at him: Putin, Xi Jinping, top comedy actors, Kevin Hart, Jim Carrey. That was the story of how he blew. But now he was looking for top artist recognition. Would he get top artist recognition? He wanted it.